Hey y'all, here's my half-assed review of 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. I kept having to remind myself as I'm reading this book that it's a different country. Things like this happen in those parts of the world all the time, and how lucky as a woman that I live in the US and have so much freedom. Because 15-year-old Miriam, who lives in Afghanistan in this book, she grows up basically living a sheltered life. One day she decides to break free of the clearing her father's family shunned them to, for her mother having her out of wedlock, which is insane to me because this man has 3 wives. But anyway, different part of the country, different rules, whatever. When she is sent back to her mother, she's in a frightening, embarrassing state. She gets the shock of her life that changes her life forever. Her father's 3 wives marry her off to a 42-year-old man to get her out of the way. It seems her mother taught her the ways of men, so she's not shocked by what her husband requires of her. Being that she lived a very sheltered life, she really has no issue hiding away in a burqa, hiding in her room when company's over, or basically being ignored. It kind of comforts her. She is curious, though, at the young women wearing the short dresses and, showing their face and wearing makeup and smoking. She knows her husband is religious. He talks about it like all the time. But she also sees his hypocrisy in said religion. She starts making excuses for his hypocrisy, I guess to comfort herself. I don't know why she does it. I don't know. And he starts showing his true colors when Miriam has a miscarriage by starting to physically abuse her. 4 years later, the political state of the country is getting worse, and Miriam is unable to give her husband a child, which causes more abuse. So much so that she is terrified of her husband. At the same time, Miriam's husband is forcing her to self-mutilate her mouth. A few houses down, there's a little girl being born. Her name is Layla, and she has 2 older brothers. Layla, at the age of 9, has a one-legged friend whose name is Tariq, and he lost his leg in an accident due to the war that's going on all around them. Layla's father is very intelligent. He is bucking the system when it comes to Layla because he wants her to be educated, and he's not going to marry her off as soon as she's old enough to be married off. Her mother is in a depressive state most of the time and stays in bed all the time because her older sons, her pride and joys, go to war and they die. So that makes her more depressed. When Layla is 11 and Tariq is 13, she realizes that she cares for Tariq more than just friends. So at the age of 14 and 16, the war is still going on around them. Tariq's family decides to move, and she gets angry at him because she's such an emotional state right now. And they go from kissing to having sex. So she is distraught and she kicks him out afterwards, and he begs her and pleads with her to please talk to him, but she doesn't open the door and she just ignores him. She gets very depressed after this, but she gets her joy back when her father announces that they're going to move as well because they have to flee. The war's really bad. She hopes that they can catch up with Tariq and his family. But as Layla is putting some boxes in the car, she gets knocked to the ground, and the next thing she knows is some long-faced woman is taking care of her. She finds out that she's been injured from a blast that leveled her home and killed her parents. She realizes weeks later that she's expecting Tariq's child, so she agrees to marry Miriam's disgusting 60-plus-year-old husband to save face. After he sends a man to tell her Tariq's family has been killed and just Ugh, disgusting. But she does end up giving this man the son he so desperately wanted in the most horrific scenario possible. Ooh, how? I just don't understand how. Well, after this, life just becomes a living hell for them for the next 7 years. Near starvation, she has to send her daughter to an orphanage. Then one day, Tariq is suddenly back. The husband lied and always knew that Layla's daughter isn't his. After the first attempt to leave failed miserably, I knew that the only way they were going to be able to escape this man was by death. But I didn't expect it to happen the way it happened. It was so sad. But Tariq and Layla get married and basically have a happy ever after. I like how Khaled Hosseini weaved the historical events that were going on at the time in this story, because it was going on from 1973 to the early 2000s. But I really enjoyed reading this book, and I would recommend it to anybody. So that's it. Okay, bye.